Hi, my name is Jason Sullivan, and I'm going to present my e-learning project using Screencast-O-Matic. My project was built and designed on the Schoology platform. This is my first experience with Schoology, and I'd like to share a little bit about what kind of led me to choose this particular platform. The course that I'm designing is for a 2-week-long professional development workshop. The first week is all day with teachers. The second week is a lab school environment where the teachers are using the skills and lessons they've designed in the first week to actually work with students the second week. It is a summer program that we have run now for 2 years. This coming summer in 2016 will be our third cohort going through. Why did I choose Schoology? One of the things that I've noticed over the couple of years that we have done this workshop is that my materials for this particular workshop have become less and less contained. Schoology has a platform where I can upload and kind of organize in a pretty regular fashion, and I like that. It is linked to my Google Drive, but it avoids the messiness of my Google Drive. I'm sure that is not the case for all of you, but mine tends to get a little bit cluttered. There are other features that I really enjoyed about Schoology. One was the ease of YouTube uploads and creation. That was a new feature for me. I am not a YouTube experienced YouTube user, and I was a little concerned about that, and I became, I think, a little bit more expert in that area. The other area that I liked for Schoology was that of the blogs. So you can see over here on the right side of the screen where my cursor is that you're going to be able to have an ongoing blog dialogue, and I can set them by dates when the users can actually access them and when they have to access them by. The other is that it is allowing the users or participants in the group to access shared documents that all of us can access via our shared Google Drives or shared folders on our common school Google Drives. So while they can't edit as much on the actual Schoology, they can contribute through the blogs, and they can also use this linked feature with our Google Drive that I think is very advantageous for the work that we're trying to do. So it's secure. It's something that you are there by invitation, but once you are in the group, it has some openness to it. And of course, the other thing that drew me to it, I'll point out here, everybody loves badges. I love badges. They're a big thing in Edmodo when I used to use that. And here are your badges. I created a couple for my particular workshop, but then I grabbed a couple others. You see that I have one user. I only selected one person. This is a kind of a fake user, although this is my daughter. And you can see that she is really good at a lot of things. She's not quite the master of those, but she is pretty spectacular. One thing that I did notice about Schoology that may be a limitation, I'll probably remind myself of it later, is that when I went to create my daughter's account, she's only 8, so I threw in kind of her regular birthday just to see what would happen because of the age restrictions. And indeed, they did ask for a lot of verification, which I liked. As a parent and as a teacher and an administrator, I like that. But one thing that I did notice is that when you go to verify, it does take a little bit. And if you're under the age of 13 over here, when you click off this, Schoology folks are really concerned about this because every time you open up a new window, when you are interacting with it, that reminder will come up. And I have not found a way to kind of say, yes, I know, or literally deny the user. I went back in and created a user for my daughter who was a little bit older so that the restrictions wouldn't come up. So this particular platform is pretty dynamic. It's able to lock things by date. You can notice down here when it is due, it's given to the user, but you can also see that I placed on here a date when this is to be accessed. I have it open and visible now so that as it's reviewed by Dr. Novak, he can access that. But for us in our particular workshop, I want to have the materials out for day 1, but I don't necessarily want the teachers to go ahead and start looking at day 2. Not that they would necessarily in the summer. Hopefully they're enjoying their evenings. But there are materials there that maybe too leading for what I want to get accomplished. And in a very constructivist kind of responsive learning approach, that's one of the things that I really liked about this, is that I could lock it out until I wanted them to access it. They do happen to be open now so that we can access all of them. I also like the analytics that you can go down here. You can kind of check out the users and go through that. So a lot of good things with that part of it. Now on to what the actual website looks like. So I have this welcome message that is at the top, and I'm going to go ahead and switch over. I have my daughter's account up on Internet Explorer, so I'm going to switch over to her account. So this is now as I'm seeing this as a user. So in the first thing, the welcome message that comes up, I do notice that with Internet Explorer, there are some things like YouTube and some of the Google Docs that lose a little functionality, which, so the platform interacts in that way, but you really have to be using Chrome, I think, to get all of its functioning. So I was able to create a welcome message. This is the link to the YouTube, and then you can click on this. I can't say that I look great on it, but I'll play that a little bit for you. Just to, I don't. Ooh. Okay, I actually don't know with my Screencast-O-Matic if you can hear the audio on it because I don't have anything but the free version. So I'll go on after the welcome message that I presented for the people who will be joining the group. It explains a little bit of the instructions and some of the blogging that I'd like them to do prior to the workshop. I also was able to do one other thing that was quite helpful in this particular project, not necessarily related to Schoolology as much as it was related to my dissertation, and that is I have some quantitative surveys that I anticipate I will be giving to the workshop participants are going to be part of the dissertation work that I'm doing. I was able to go in and actually create here 2 surveys and 2 pre-workshop surveys, and we do post as kind of our evaluation piece and analytics that we'll be looking at. But when I click on this, I'll show you it does go to sort of an app page, but this is what the document looks like. I used Qualtrics, which is a Rutgers University. They have a site license for this that we can use, and you can see the preview that you have. So I created all the survey for it, and it gives you what it looks like on an iPhone, kind of nice feature. And then if you click over here, you can actually get the QR code, which is what you saw there. So if you were watching this right now, you could screenshot it and hit your QR code, and that would come up for the preview of the survey. So that was kind of a nice little added feature, I thought. I'm going to continue on back to the main page into day 1 resources and highlight a few things that I really liked about this. The agenda I split up because it's pretty extensive in day 1 into an AM and PM. I just created some pages with this and have the outline of the agenda for the day. And there are a couple little assignments in through here. This is Learning Progressions is going to be an attachment for them to review and use. And then I have 2 group assignments, Group 1 and Group 2, where they're going to be looking at a shared Google document and be adding to it and contributing to it. So when I open that up, obviously with Internet Explorer, it doesn't love that, but I'll show you what it looks like when it comes up. So they have a question that they're going to answer, and then the students now in Chrome, it's not just view only, and they can add and edit to it. And that's one of the features I like in that added piece. The other is just that I was able to attach the documents down below, so there's lots of places to get the resources. I like that kind of flexibility to see it in many different places. Okay, so moving on, we have a next button. It's kind of a nice feature if you're just scrolling through to the next thing, the day 1 p.m. agenda. And I have one of the launches that I did. I actually created this YouTube video and played it, gave a little instructions so that something that we did in class they could also see online, or if somebody was coming back and reviewing it, could kind of have that experience again. And it's about a spinning top, so you can click on that and play it. I won't do that for sake of time. I want to get through and try to adhere to the 10 minutes. Well, looks like I'm having a little trouble with Internet Explorer, so I'm going to switch back to Chrome and look again here. Day 1 reflections. I can have them take a look at this. I was able to order it I like the feature where I could just grab this and drag it where I want. It's pretty easy to do the editing. The days as you go through there and the assignments that are created are less and less detailed, and that's really intentional with the work that we're doing. Oops, I didn't want that, sorry. I'll go back to my main page. I wasn't looking at discussions. The day 2 resources here. I can take you through a little bit of what the blog looks like. I do have one in there that I could see. You can see my daughter replied to the question of why are you taking this workshop, and she didn't, because I'm making her do that. Really, I didn't. I played her, but there she is, enjoying some nature as well. Okay, back to the main page. Day 2, as you look at this, has more of the same, kind of an agenda and some resources that will be posted. Intention when I say that it's products, that any of the shared documents that they create will also be accessible to us. So this kind of takes us through, and you can see there's much less detail, but in, again, the spirit of responsiveness, we really do modify the agenda day to day. I know that's probably different in all of your classrooms where your lesson plans stay true year to year. Mine seem to change day to day. So there we go. So day 4 and 5 are pretty scant in terms of what they have. They do have an outline of what we expect and what happened in the first days of those other cohort workshops, but flexible and certainly less detail to them. References, I like this feature as well, that I can add some references. I have books that I added to it that are related to this, all of the different resources that we have there in the references. Likewise with articles, I just link those, and you can hot link or hyperlink the PDFs to them. That was kind of nice as well. So building up all of this, and there are a ton of resources that I'm still finding as I went through this assignment to get all of the things organized, that I realized how scattered they are when we're sharing folders and different things. I really like the video portions of this. These are 2 Google Docs that have video links to them that another teacher has shared, actually, of students in her classroom, so I'm going to provide those as resources for the teachers to see. And then some pictures, of course, of students who are doing this, so it's all kind of fun and games until you get the kids in there, and then it's really, really fun. So here is one of our cohorts, and they do seem to be having a good time. Bubbles was one of the major themes that year. So overall, I'll kind of wrap this up. I wanted to say that I really thought the resource allowed me to organize the way that I wanted to. It allowed me to do some different representations and really a lot of multimedia interaction, things that I liked. There were a couple things that I didn't really like about Schoology that I think could be improved. One is that I have the Grammarly app here because I'm a bad typer, and that's a problem for me. But Schoology and Grammarly don't like one another very much, and it's a really kind of interesting toggle feature that I haven't quite figured out. When you go to do this, it toggles funny, and you end up erasing lots of things you don't want to. So don't like that. It was kind of annoying. And with the blogs and different things, I like the badges, but there's no emojis, and that seems to be kind of almost a staple of everything right now, so that we can talk in emojis, but they didn't have that. And then finally that kind of annoying window that came up. But really like the Schoology app. I thought it was perfect for my needs, and hopefully you found some benefit from it as well too. Thanks.